Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
WQEE 99.1 FM The Key, home of Southern sports and talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin. The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass in Noonan next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We're your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. Visit our website at www.insurewithellsworth.com or call the office at 770-755-7053 to schedule an appointment. We look forward to meeting you soon.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. I'm a certified tactical self-defense instructor, and I specialize in women's self-defense. I teach technical drills for survival skills and education on self-defense tools and how to use them. My journey started in self-defense because I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm here to empower women, to teach them how to be their own heroes, and to learn today to have a safer tomorrow.
It's now time for Tea Talks with your host, Margie Conway, in association with Connecting Hearts Network, connecting hearts of women to resources, inspiration, and one another. Sponsored by Pia Payne and Contour Mortgage, Warrior Defenders, Happy Life Nutrition, Killingsworth Realtor, and Family Patterns Matter. Now here's your host of Tea Talk, Margie Conway.
Hi, it's Margie Conway from Connecting Hearts Network, and today we are live in the studio. We're so excited about that. Since we've been able to do that, we've been through surgery and boots and splints and boots and casts and all these good things. So when I was able to hobble up them steps this morning, it made me so happy that we can get back to you. And so, because I know we have an extended time and we need to fill that time, I asked Amy Oliver to join me, because me and Amy starts talking, we talk and talk and talk, and it is going to bless your heart, because I know it blesses mine every single time. So we have a lot going on today. Just in case, you hadn't picked it up on some of these other shows, I'm going going to make announcements right now, so that way if I decide to cut them off later, it's easy to find them. We have moved the Creative Heart Studio to 3 Bullsboro Drive, so it is the brick building on the Hillcrest Chapel property, and we have neon hearts showing up later this week that will be shining in the window when we're there. So a couple of things is, I know we have a tea party on the 25th after the motorcycle ride, and then we have a grown-up ladies Easter egg hunt on April the 1st. We're going to have a good time.
I'm so excited about this.
I know it's going to be so fun, and then we're going to do an Oils of the Resurrection class in conjunction with that. So we want to bring all the ladies out. We want to, encourage and inspire women. We want to tell them our stories so that they can, come up from theirs. And speaking of stories, today is National Write Your Story Day.
Wow, that's good stuff.
Because the importance of it and telling your story as well, how that's really kind of Connect and Create is kind of about that. It's the connection part, and how do we have a connection with someone?
Right.
We don't until we start talking, and we can relate to something that they said and realize that we're not alone on a different level than just mindless texting or mindless, walking through town like zombies and not even making eye contact. So the connection is the most important part.
You're right. And that does it. Long time ago in all of my direct sales training, one of them said you need to be real and authentic. If you try to make your presentation and everything you do perfect, nobody else is going to want to follow you because they can't be you if you're trying to be perfect. And I have trouble with that because I really want everything to be just so, but I have learned to let it go and just, it's who I am, and that's what they get. And the more that I've done that, the more people that has found me relatable and that I talk to. And the more help I get around the church because I'm not going behind them tweaking every little thing they do. So, and it's so being relatable and sharing your story is what helps others. I'm a firm believer in that.
Right. It's also super healing for yourself. Even the motion and the action of writing it down, that's just another form of getting it out and letting it lose its power if it was negative.
That's it.
Or empowering you more if the parts that are positive, because now not only have you spoken it, now you're writing it, and it's in black and white, and it's on something tangible that you can touch.
Right.
Which is super important also as far as healing. And communication, period. Like with my daughter and I doing a journal, an art journal, or a question journal where we write in it, excuse me, Palin, in the evenings and take turns answering maybe tough questions or acknowledging tough situations that we've faced and we have questions about, but we don't want to hurt each other's feelings. It's even in trying to create or start a business or start any dream that you may have, the stages of bringing it to life is you need to eat, drink, walk, talk. That's what you put in comes out. So we're talking about it, and the more we talk about it, then we write about it, and it's part of making those positive things happen because you're making it a part of your life.
Right. And that's one thing that started all this is my mom journaled, and she had many therapists. Some of them were not good because one of them talked to her about their cat all the time. But one of them got her journaling, and so my mom journaled forever. And even at one point, I got her one of the old computers, and she started typing her journal. She journaled, and she said she wrote a book. And she had our family promise they would not let me alter her book, that they would publish her book. And so that was, when she did pass, that was really our most treasured things that she had was her journals and that book. Now, I know why she didn't want me to alter the book, because I would have. But I decided, and if you go to my blog and you read the introductory statement, my mom wrote a book. So I decided I'm going to write a book. And I was going to title mine The Truths That Set Me Free That She Never Caught a Hold of. And And now I'm writing a book, and it's from their eyes, and it's 5 generations of women in my family. For some reason, I have acquired all of their eyeglasses, and I'm going to write all of their stories and hours and about generational curses in there. But writing those stories, you know, it helps people understand you better. It did give me a better understanding of my mom, even if I didn't agree with what she'd written. But it's you know, that's what started us, is I want to write it and share it and let people know our end of it, because the more they know, the more that it seems to help them, the more that come when we share our stories. One of my favorite parts about our life is the fact that if you're still breathing, your story is not finished.
That's right.
Yeah.
God's not done with you.
That's it. It doesn't matter what was on those previous pages and those chapters before this day. As of today, if you want to change it, you can change it.
Right.
Yeah.
We definitely have the power to do that. It's a mindset that we have. I think feeling stuck is a huge issue that we have, especially in today's world, because it is almost like we're stuck in a rat race, right? We're having to work a 9-to-5 job in order to pay for that box that we have financed and through the bank, that we just go and visit in reality because we're spending all of our time working to pay for this little box that is overpriced, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Not including the children that come into play and having to give them your time. Well, what time do you have left? You don't really have very much time left if you're working to pay for that little box and to home those little babies. But how are the babies being affected too? They're being totally neglected. You know, not intentionally, but emotionally and spiritually, they're being neglected because as parents we get in that rat race, and all we're doing is running a vicious circle of being a slave to the dollar bill, basically.
Absolutely. And I know when, you know, my previous life, when I was doing it for survival, that's all I could concentrate on is what did I need to do, you know, to help them today. But now I need to do the things I'm doing now to help them today because it's influencing them. When God lets you rewrite your story and you get a better understanding of the things that went on, I mean, I got a better understanding of the word love. I never knew what that was, and so I got to rewrite that. And in this second part, I can love people much better. And, you know, I've always been creative, but I've learned how to share that through, share my story through creativity, whether it's a canvas or it's writing or it's whatever. And you are doing that with a lot of people. God has let you take some of the hardest parts of your story and do what he does best, turn them around for good and help other people. So you are doing Art in Recovery.
I am. So Art in Recovery evolved really last February in 2022. That was our very first class, and I'm doing it at Coweta Force. So I don't know if you guys know what Coweta Force is. It's on Salabide. How do you say that name of that street? Salabide. And Salabidi. That's what I call it.
We don't know.
I know. I always made fun of it, and I'm always like, it's Salabidi Road, and they're like, what? I'm like, you know, the one by the church. But anyway, that's their new location. But the founder and director over there, Hank Arnold, he believed in me when I didn't really believe in myself, and he saw something in me and gave me the opportunity to teach art therapy to our community and to be able to offer it as a free group. And you do not have to be in recovery to go to this class. We offer it, I teach it once a month, and it's the third Tuesday of every month. And we meet at 6:30. And what we're doing is I'm providing all of the supplies that you need for our craft that we're going to be doing for that evening. So everything you need to make a craft is going to be there. We do a dinner, and so I feed you too, so I can't hear my girlfriend say, oh my gosh, it's a school night, and I got to feed my kids, and I'm like, no you don't, I got you, boo. So bring it, and bring the babies too. And the children that have come have really touched my heart to this class, because to watch them connect with their mom or their dad on a different level. It's like a safe level, and to see them working together as a team, and to giggle and to laugh and to even poke fun at each other, like to watch that connection in their relationship grow, because a lot of these people are only having visitation with their children. And they don't even have full custody of them because they could be in some sort of custody battle, drug court or family treatment court. And they're coming to my class for me to sign off on them that they went to a meeting, but they're getting all this extra stuff because it's not just with them, it's with their children. And then the class I've seen reconnection and reuniting of old relationships and friends that came to the class and didn't know the other was going to be there, and it was like a joyous reunion when they saw each other, and then their relationship started mending and growing, and it's a beautiful opportunity just to connect with other people in your community, and to do something that you're not used to doing, and create an uncomfortable environment so that you're able to grow as a human being. Taking a risk and putting yourself out there and trying to go to a meeting, like you say, like how we force recovery. People, addicts are scary, or we have this,
Well, I was telling you, my experience is anybody I was ever around that had alcohol or drug problems were scary. And I went through a lot because of them. I about lost my life more than once. And so I had my walls built up.
Right.
And God has apparently, through connections and different things going on, He's working on all the last bit of walls I had coming down. I mentioned that...
Is that refining? You're getting refined.
That's the word of the year. He's burning away the last parts of these things that need to go. And as scary as it can be, I'm looking forward to it, because I know whatever He does always works out for my good and those around me. And
I love that verse in the Bible.
Yeah. And so, I went to an AA meeting to support a friend, and I was nervous about going because I have shut the door on alcohol in my life. My adult children.
You have a stereotype now because of your experience, and you've had such a bad experience. That's how you feel. All of us are. We're like big and scary people and unruly, like trash, kind of.
Well, I don't know until you let God get into it.
Right.
Once God gets into it, it's different. It's I had this discussion with my stepson not long ago, and he had a new gun belt that you wear under your clothes and stash your guns in it. And he came up and he said, "Marge, I just want to show you how this fits and stuff." He said, "I know it makes you uncomfortable when I have guns out." And I said, "Chad, I'm not supposed to say everybody's name. I'm not uncomfortable when you have guns out. I know that he has been raised with safety and knowledge about guns. I'm uncomfortable when you are high or drinking and you have guns in your hand."
Rightfully so.
And he said, "Oh, so you trust me with guns?" "Yeah, I trust you with guns." And he is in recovery. And even though I say his name, everybody knows that. He is in recovery, and he is working his way, up to being he is a tax-paying, electric bill-paying citizen.
And even what you just said, excuse me, he's in recovery. Thank you. He's in recovery, but I just said his name, and everyone knows. Me and my family knows he's in recovery. You're still hesitant, and you still had to think twice about mentioning your son's name because of the stigma that's out there. Because it's shameful, or people want us to think that we're dirty, or we're not good enough, or we'll never make it. We're always going to be junkies, and that part of the stigma is what keeps us beaten down. Because it's the constant beating down. It's the labeling. It's the you're no good. You're good for nothing. You're never going to amount to anything. You're just going to be a junkie. You're going to be a little. I could go on and on. I'm going to stop it there though.
Well, it's with him. Like I've said before, I kept my bags packed, and it wasn't because his daddy was an enabler, but he was trying to take care of him.
Right.
And so it's with him. He said something. I said, "Chad, if you just had listened to me and knew all the things I've been through because of it, you would know why I get so angry and ill at it." Because like I was saying a while ago, is I had shut that door on alcohol. It's not allowed in our house, but even when I go out to eat with our adult children, they respect me and don't order anything because they know how I feel about it.
You were traumatized by someone that was using.
And like I told Chad, I said, honey, not even a tenth of what has happened to me that were you responsible for. You know, he wasn't. But he was just goofy and silly and irresponsible. He wasn't violent and mean,
Thank
which
goodness,
I know. But you know, we have also learned, as the more I've learned, the people who are violent and mean, it's already in them,
right?
And it's just loosening,
right? It's deep rooted, and that's
right.
how all of our any addiction that we have, even if it's an overeating addiction, if it's a sex addiction, if it's a shopping addiction, it can be we got a million different types of things that can be addictive. And I lost where I was going with that, yo.
Well, where I'm going to say it is that's what I love about what you're doing, because you do art and recovery. She also does hiking and recovery that we'll talk about, but you bring it in under Connect and Create.
Right, and it's
the connections.
It's bringing the people who don't know. That's where I was going with that, because one of my best of friends, I met her in the rooms, and she doesn't use. She's never used. She's not an addict in the form of a substance. Her husband and her son's daddy was an addict, and so she went in searching out understanding of why we did what we did, or maybe so she could connect with her son's father on a more compassionate level. And we became really tight, and we're polar opposites. But man, I can call on that girl to this day, and she'll show up to my house with a baseball bat if I am in need of any kind of need. And it don't matter. But she's the same way. She was the same way. She was angry at the addict because of her experience with her son's dad, who was abandoning her son and her, and she didn't understand it, so she came to understand it. And that's the beautiful thing about Connect and Create, is that I want everybody to be there, because everybody has their own addiction. Everybody's jacked up in their own way. Yeah. Why not let's all be jacked up together and help us and help our jacked upness? No, I mean,
help us become unjacked up.
Right.
Or
try
even
to
out
understand.
A little bit.
Try to take yourself off that pedestal.
Right.
And try and go and get out of your comfort zone and really connect with a human being that's not like you, though. Someone that's totally opposite than you are.
Well, you said that
How
totally
else are we
opposite.
going to learn? How else are we going to grow if we don't?
You're right. My oldest son had gone through a lot when he was 13, 14. And so before him, I would have walked on the other side of the street from people who had now everybody has multicolored hair, but back then everybody didn't have multicolored hair, and leather and chains and piercings, and because he had been bullied, he adopted that persona so that nobody bothered him. People did walk on the other side of the street, but underneath he had one of the kindest souls you would have ever seen. Yeah. So he taught me some tough lessons in that. But it's like you're talking about, we're all on pedestals or all these things thinking we are. I stayed behind big, heavy walls and didn't stick my toes out from behind my walls or let anybody in.
From fear, right?
Yeah, from fear.
Fear was controlling you. It was the fear of the unknown and fear of what has happened in your past. Given that same environment and that trusting, that's where those walls started. You started putting them bricks up quick, didn't you?
No, I did. Long time ago.
Set them bricks
it's harder to tear them down. It is hard
How
to tear them down.
How do you dissolve concrete whenever you've already laid down tons of slabs and tons of layers of bricks? It's going to take just as much time. But you can't do it until you face that fear, right?
Right.
How do we face our fears? We do something that makes us uncomfortable.
You take a step and you take another one, and that's been the truth with me as I've stepped out. I was even telling somebody this week, we build our walls to protect ourselves, but even though we're keeping the bad out, we keep all the good out.
Right.
And there is so much good that I have discovered in people that used to I would not have had anything to do with or walked around. And it's Chris taught me that lesson. Some other people have taught me that lesson in different ways. Sometimes I'm a little kind of hard-headed, and God has to try to teach me more than once. And
can I get an amen?
All right now, but I know a lot of people that would amen that one. But still, that's an area He's working on me, and I know it's so that I will be able to relate to people better,
right?
Because I've already seen the effects of it,
right? Yeah. And for me, Connect and Create, it's about unity and bringing the community together. And loving on each other, because when you connect with something, how you're creating something beautiful.
Right.
You're creating a foundation for a relationship. You're creating healing.
Right.
You're creating education and knowledge. Because I've learned so much, even from just being in the family treatment court. Y'all, I went there, and I was dumb. And I mean dumb, like dumb, like street smarts dumb. Right. I was sheltered my entire life. And I went up there, and I thought I was done, lost my mind. I was like watching, listening to people tell their stories, and some of those same people that were telling their stories are now like my best of friends.
Right.
I'm like looking at them like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like that's some real hard stuff I was hearing, and I had never been exposed to.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I thought I was better than that because I hadn't. I thought that, like, oh my gosh, like, how were you raised? Like, I didn't even think I had a problem then. Yeah, I was still finding myself, if you will, digging deep, But these same people that I was standing there with my eyes bugging out of my head thinking, oh gosh, like thinking I was maybe even in danger to some degree, like, either I want them to have my back or I want to stay far away from them, but they're my best friends now, and they're people that, they're people, they're human beings,
right.
And I'm tight with them because we were in a situation where we had to get real with ourselves, and then we were able to get, but it's acceptance too. These people loved me when I was in my worst condition, my worst shape, when they were already in bad shape themselves.
Right.
But they were. I looked at them as deeper. They were deeper in an addiction, or they But we're the same.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't get caught, y'all. Like, I did everything that those people had done who were sentenced to the family treatment court or DUI court or drug court. That's what they had to do to get charges taken, away.
We've been through that with family members.
Yeah,
so I know
just
about
didn't
that.
get caught. I did everything. Probably, I would say 90% of what every single person was in there for with charges did. I just didn't get caught. The Lord had His hand on me in some crazy way, or either I was just lucky. I don't know. I say blessed because I see His hand in everything.
Yeah.
Every part of my life, even up to this day. And it makes so much more sense because I'm looking for it now. Because I'm like, oh my goodness. I should be dead. Like, I should legit be dead.
Well,
and I'm not. And so if I'm not, and I have that breath in my lungs, I want to bring awareness. I want to bring connection and to bring love and light and encouragement and the good news of what, the Lord can do, because He has saved my life. He has changed my life in such a drastic way. I can't not share that, and I can't not share hope, because I remember being hopeless. I remember trying to drink myself to death, y'all. Like, I was in such a hopeless state that I would almost drink a handle of whiskey a day. I would wake up in the middle of the night in a huge puddle of sweat, detoxing, and have to keep whiskey by my bed to drink in order, and this sounds horrible, but here we go, being open and honest. Try it, you might like it, right? Legit having to, this is going to be hard to say out loud because I'm not in my safe rooms where I share this stuff and I feel safe, but I don't care what anyone thinks now, but I would have to drink in the mornings to get my daughter to school, and that is a shameful thing to say, but it's the truth. I would shake. I would drink better, or I would drive better if I had that drink in me, and I had to, when I got towards that last month before I checked myself into detox, I had to drink. And it was killing me, and it was disgusting, and it was horrible, but it's what I had to do. because of the hopelessness. I didn't see a way out. I was too chicken to really kill myself. I don't know what we can and cannot say here, but I was too chicken to take my own life, and so I was slowly killing myself, subconsciously just drinking myself to death because I was that miserable of a human being. And because that's where I've come from, because those are the feelings I've experienced, and because God put his hand on me and literally pulled me from hell. And I mean, he ripped me up from hell. And he used every person in my life, even the ones who wanted to flip off and say, you know, screw you, because I didn't understand what they were doing, that tough love at the time.
Right.
They saved my lives because even though they didn't know what they were doing, they were fighting for me.
Yeah.
Even though they handled situations wrongly, they were still fighting for me because they were just as deep in a situation that they had no idea about or how to handle as I was in my addiction, like grabbing, reaching, you know, trying to stay afloat, treading water barely, keeping my head up, and sometimes like with just a little straw even, because I was going down and I was going down quick. And so...
Well, I'm going to tell you, you have that story that you can tell about the alcohol use and the things you've been through. And I've already said I did not do hardly any alcohol or drugs, mainly because everything my parents did, I wasn't going to do. And so I did very little of it. But I did the same thing with control issues and fear. I had to control everything within my sight and further out because I felt like if I wasn't controlling it, it was going to fall apart and it was going to mess up. And I remember feeling so helpless and hopeless because I cannot control everything. It's not my job.
That's just as debilitating as any other addiction or anything else that you're going through. Is that? But that's when you've done the work, you put in the legwork,
and it's hard.
You're digging deep. My favorite part, and everyone that's been to any kind of drug court or DUI court, or family treatment court, anything like that, that's had to do MRT. They're going to think I'm crazy right now, but that was my favorite part.
What is MRT?
MRT is a workbook that you do, and it's basically, it's like the 12 steps in recovery, but on steroids.
Oh, okay.
And you have to present all of these things in class. Like we did a time management session. And we legit wrote down everything that we did from the time we opened our eyes, from the time we closed our eyes, for a full week. We added up the hours that we spent doing those things, and then we went over them and we looked at them as far as like breaking them down. I'm spending this much time on my phone, and it was just a huge awakening.
Mine would have been going back and redoing everything everybody else had done because I didn't approve of it. And that's very tiring, y'all. But I did a lot of it.
MRT is it's like the 12 steps. And I think that if you've never been in recovery of any sorts, I think that they need to be teaching MRT in actual school. Like, throw away with some of this other nonsense you're not teaching the kids, you know, but throw MRT at them in their senior year. Watch them grow and mature, and because that's where you're peeling back them layers that you're talking about.
Well, that's the way I feel about the Her Journey Abuse Recovery program we do. There is so much in that program that is so helpful. I think every woman out there ought to go through it, not just because they've been through domestic violence or abuse, but because it helps you break all those habits you had and learn how to have new ones.
Those character defects that we have, and
it's
patterns
just unhealthy patterns we have learned trying to cope with where we are and what's going on. Well, that's one thing that I love, because when we talk about writing story, you have rewritten a bunch of your story and you're using it to the full advantage. So with Connect and Create, with you doing the art and recovery, that's awesome. That's how I found you, because I was seeing that posted and I wanted to know who's doing that.
I feel like it's such a big blessing to me. Like, God's just, the minute I surrender and I give everything to Him, look, y'all, I got like zero money in my account, but I'm still going to kick it, you know, and I'm going to do that next right thing, because I know that He's going to bless me and provide for me and my family in such a way that I never could if I was beating the streets, and going hard, you know, trying to shove this down people's throat. I don't have to. He brings
who He wants to be in the path,
and He's carried me through this.
Right.
I mean, but I have to not get in his way too, because of my own character defects. I get that control issue.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to make sure everything is going to be in the right place, or gonna, I want to know. I want the heads up. I mean, I don't like surprises. I want to know.
I have learned, because I would tell people, they would ask why I haven't done a nonprofit, and I would, at first I said, because I want to be in control of it. Yeah. But it's not that I want to be in control of it. I want to protect what I know the Lord is working through me to do, and I want to be able to be flexible enough whichever way He sends it, because and you can't do that if you have to answer to a whole panel of other people.
And it's hard to narrow it down. People are like, so tell me about Connect and Create. I'm like, I don't know. Ask the Lord. That's what I'm doing every day. Yeah. I just ask the Lord, guide me, use me as a vessel, use me as an instrument, please. In any way that you want. I'll stay present. I'll stay intentional, and I'll stay aware of the opportunities, and just guide me in the next, the path that you want me to go. Y'all, and every time He does, he places the right people in my path, and I know that He wants to use me for His glory and His glory only, so I have to stay on that level, and that's, when you're convicted, that's a tough thing. I mean, it's actually a beautiful thing, but it's tough because you legit can't screw up no more. Like, legit. Well, you can't screw up like that anymore.
Yeah, but when
you can, but it's like, it's such a spiritual warfare in your mind, in your body. I can't survive that kind of. I mean, I gotta be like this. I just admit.
Right, just do it, Lord. Yeah.
It again for a minute. But.
That's it. And that comes from having a strong relationship with the Lord and looking for it. Like you said, now you can see His signs everywhere. And I even said in a group last week, I used to ask Him to hit me over the head with the sign because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And now I can.
Undeniable.
Yeah, now I can see it in everything, even the black and white tile in that little camper we bought. And He's redeeming that tile because, and people look at me sometimes like I'm crazy, but my grandmother's kitchen, when I was growing up, where I lived most of the time, she put that black and white checked tile on the floor. And, it had the old Formica table stuff, and she painted the walls and the cabinets Pepto-Bismol pink, but that's beside the point. But we got this little camper, and me and Ricky got it a couple of weeks ago, and we're starting to go off together just to take a deep breath and be together. And that little red and black and white tile in the floor, I'm sitting there while he's trying to show me all the controls of it. And her floor came back, and there was a bunch of bad memories associated with that kitchen, and now I get to make new memories associated with black and white tile.
You got to change the wiring in
right
your head now.
You look
and we
for
can
it.
Do that. We can.
Yeah,
we can replace anything negative with something positive.
Absolutely.
But it's a chore. You've got to legit do it. Like, you've got to make a point to do it. It's so for hiking and recovery. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up really quick, just because. We'll get to talking and we'll forget about it.
That's it. That's what we did before.
It's just another branch of Connect and Create. It's just something that Connect and Create is doing because it's providing. My love is nature. My love is the woods. My love is being outside. If I'm getting my hands dirty, I'm happy. I'll have them all in the mud. I'll have them, on the rock. I mean, climbing rock, putting up, making fires. It don't matter. If I'm outside, I'm in nature, then I breathe better. Right. And that's just who I am. So I partnered with Hiking with Hope, which is a group off of Facebook, and they did hikes, which my sister is a part of that group. And my goal with Hiking and Recovery is to bring anyone and everyone in our community together to enjoy nature that way, and to spread hope. Spread hope by the conversation that we're having while we're on the hike. And that means creating a safe environment for people to share their story, and that way they can connect for me on a higher level, because I'm in nature and I'm around everything that has life that God had His hands on, even my feet. I'll be taking my shoes and my socks off at church and getting the kids to play kickball. Y'all get grounded. Come on, now's your chance.
And they have no idea what you're talking about.
There's I mean,
I believe in that. And as much as I'm not an outside person, I do that little camping trip we did. I love to watch the sky. I love to watch the water. That night I was watching the trees sway, and it reminded reminded me of those great big tall trees when they're swaying. They bend so they don't break, and that's exactly the way God designed them, and that's the way He designed us. So if we bend and lean more towards Him, we're not going to break like we would otherwise.
Yeah. And the Lord provides. He knows the number of hairs on our head. He knows the very sparrow that fell out of the tree, and He provides for every last animal. Everything you see out there, He's provided a bumblebee to pollinate it, and He's provided the air that it needed to grow in the soil, and He's provided everything and His hands actually touch it. If it's living, He's touched it. So
hiking
getting people back into nature is already half the battle, because you're quieting the noise. You're taking away the phones and the internet, and you're throwing someone around God's creations, and then you're throwing them around other people that they can connect with. And I want it to be total unison. It's human being on human being. It's humanity, for crying out loud. Like, it's not about a religion. Yeah. It doesn't have to be about a specific church or a specific religion. Right. It's about hope. It's about sharing light and life to one another and lifting each other up and breathing life into them. I mean, we're commanded to love one another as ourselves, as we do, love your neighbor as you do yourself. I like myself pretty well. I mean, now,
it takes a while. I didn't used to like me,
And so I'm going to love everybody, because the more I love on somebody, the more love it gives me in my heart. The more you give, the more you get, I feel like. And God's created a way for me to continue to give and provided for me and my family, in abundance, if you will, like for anything and everything. Even when we struggle financially, I don't think I'm broke. If you look on the books in black and white, I'm broke as a joke, yo. But if you ask me, I'm the richest woman in the world, because I ain't trapped in no slave job. Right. I get to put my hands on and heal people through massage therapy, and that's one of my biggest passions. Plus, I get to bring people in the community together, God willing, because of the Lord, and create a safe environment for anyone and everyone, no matter your age, your background, to gather and to share hope and to even share the bad stuff, because a lot of times when we sharing that bad stuff, we're able to, that's how we connect. We're like, oh my gosh, you have that problem too? And you feel like you're not alone. Like, different walks of life. I can't believe you have that same, you got addiction problems in your family. Well, I'm an addict. There we go. Now we're connecting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many ways to connect on so many levels. We just got to create the opportunity and the environment, and then you got to take that chance, and you got to act, and you got to show up, and then let God work on you and work on your situation.
And you're doing an awesome job on that with art and hiking and recovery with both of those. I mean, I'm watching what you're doing in it. I'm not going to show up hiking anytime soon, but I may show up for art and recovery pretty soon. Let's go. I mean, my biggest statement I'm going to say on that is, isn't it wonderful to be walking in the will of God and doing things you enjoy and knowing that it's for His glory?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing. It's on a Sunday school Sunday, we were reading in Ezekiel. No, what is it? Something for Galatians? No, Ephesians. It was Ephesians, sorry. And we were reading it in our small group, in our Sunday school group. And it literally, the first line, the first sentence on Ephesians 4 is, I am, it's the letters that Paul wrote to the Ephesians from the Lord. He said, I am, the prisoner in Christ. And it just hit me in such a way on Sunday morning, because that's what I want to be. Yeah. I want to be a prisoner in Christ. I've never wanted to be a prisoner before. Like I said, I've never been arrested, and I've done everything that most people are arrested for. I've done pretty much. I haven't killed nobody. But,
I haven't done that yet.
No, I mean, trust me. Anyway.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, we got an old rug though.
We got a whole nother conversation about that, because I can tell you some things like that. No, I hadn't killed anybody, but not yet. Not yet. Came close, not yet.
I know,
My husband thinks it's really funny because we were watching a TV show and somebody killed somebody, and I said, "Oh no, she don't need to get caught for that one. That was a good kill. He's a good kill." I was, yes, he deserved to die. But anyway,
but just being a prisoner to the Lord, like I was so oblivious, and I used out loud. I wasn't belligerent. Well, yeah, screw that. I was so belligerent at times. I was horrible of a human being. Like, let's get, I was not good. The person you see now is not that same person, so I try and forget about her, but I can't because I was her.
Amy,
she can't come back.
I'm going to tell you that I was a school teacher and a church secretary, and I still had those struggles, and I can still look back and see while I'm teaching school and being a church secretary that I struggled with control and with being who God wanted and not surrendering.
Right.
I even told our pastor the other day when I was talking, it used to befuddle me that, like, my grandmother was a shaker and a mover. Boy, she could get it done and people listened to her. But she didn't get saved till she was in her 70s. And then she got Alzheimer's, and really there was not, it was a saving grace, so she spends eternity in heaven, and that gives me assurance. But she didn't get to do anything for the Lord. And I used to sit there and I would say, why did she have all that life? And she could have been such an influence. But I had to get till I was 50 to heal from all the hurt I had gone through before I could surrender and let go of that. Who was that woman who used to judge and be critical and do all those things? Because being sanctimonious is as bad as being lost.
Yes,
it turns people off, and it does not bring them to you.
I'm so glad you just said that.
It's trying to say I'm better because
holier
I don't do these.
My sin's not as bad as your sin. Let me get the Bible real quick because
it's
your
sin
is sin.
It's sin.
Just because you're not doing drugs don't mean your sin ain't ugly.
I remember telling one of the people at church, she was talking about the healing I'd gone through and how they can see the difference in it. I said, one big difference is I would tell you I love you at church, when you're counseling or talking with somebody, because I'm supposed to. But I really didn't mean it. Now when I tell you I love you, I mean it.
Right.
And that's from being an addict with alcohol or drugs, and from being sanctimonious and not trying to control your own life and not letting God have control over it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to bring a suggestion to you after this that maybe people will get to hear, because I think you're going to agree. But also, we've got a few minutes left. We want to get into some practical things about what you're doing. All right, you're doing the Connect and Create. You're doing Art and Recovery. You're doing it at Coweta Force. When?
So it's the third Tuesday. My voice is wanting to go. The third Tuesday of every month. The one for this month is next Tuesday because we only had a short amount of weeks in this month. And it fell late the way it hit. And then Hiking and Recovery is once a month too, and I have them posted. The schedule for both of those are posted on my Connect and Create Facebook page, and you can reach me at Connect and Create. And Create is spelled with the 8, C-R-E, and then the number 8.
Right.
We also have a big ride coming up.
Right.
That
let me take you back before we get to that, and we'll close with that. On the Connect and Create, where you're doing the Art and Recovery, supplies, how do you get supplies and do that?
So I provide all of the supplies. If anyone has any donations and wants to donate anything towards that, that would be great. You could contact me. You could go through Coweta Force. You could go through Family Patterns Matter, anything like that. I'll take donations all day long because it comes out of my pocket.
So I'm going to suggest to you, just like we did a little girl that does Notes of Hope, that maybe you make an Amazon wish list that we can spread around.
Yeah.
And if we have the Amazon wish list, we can spread it, and we can try to do fundraisers, or not really funds, but supply raisers for that.
Right.
I have somebody about to donate some to our center, but I already told you I got the hookup on a bunch of stuff, so I can happily supply you.
And too, if anyone feels led to lead an Art and Recovery, if you have a talent, or not if, we all have talents. We all have special gifts that the Lord's given us. So if you feel encouraged or led to share yours, contact me as well, because that's part of the connection, is getting someone out there, lifting them up and sharing their strengths, because in that that experience, they're growing and
Right.
they're making huge, big moves, adult moves. Teaching a class.
Well, I'll be there one week, but you're going to have to feed them because food's scary for me. I don't do that. All right, let's go. That since you've been doing this and we have reconnected or connected, you've gotten reconnected to Linda Kirkpatrick from Family Patterns Matters. So tell us about the motorcycle ride. And they got my logo on that, but I don't know the details. Amy knows the details. So tell us what's going on.
March 25th, that's not this Saturday, but next Saturday,
right.
We're doing a motorcycle benefit ride. It's called Good Vibes Ride, Changing Lives, and the proceeds are going to benefit and all go towards Family Patterns Matter. What Family Patterns Matter does is a youth in action meeting in our community for the youth. They meet twice a month. It's a mentorship. It's a scholarship program. It's for underprivileged children. Most of them aren't. Some of them are in foster care. Some of them aren't. But they don't have these opportunities normally in their living situation that they have. It's a beautiful program. We're able to help with paying some bills occasionally with the family members, and getting one-on-one schooling mentoring, and then having extra mentoring to them, like a support, teaching them on bullying and other situations that they're faced with today in schools. It starts at 9:30, the on-site registration. It's at Madras Church for the riders. If you have a motorcycle, a Jeep, a truck, anything street legal, and you want to be a part of this ride, come and register. You can register online at familypatternsmatter.org. And it's $20 a rider, $5 for any passengers that you have going with you. There's vending opportunities. That's a great opportunity. An event to come out and sell your local goods. You can also find that information directly from me or Linda Kirkpatrick or on the website.
Right.
Go to my go to my Facebook page, and I have all that stuff blasted on there. You can hit the Q code and it'll send you straight to the registration page. Sponsorship. We're in need of some sponsorships, y'all, to raise some money for this.
Linda's a great nonprofit. She does a lot of good work with these kids.
She is, man. Her heart is gold.
And Family Patterns Matters is one of the sponsors for Connecting Hearts. And Linda's heart for these kids is just wonderful. I've been over there when I've been able to participate with them. And there are some kids, you want to talk about some stories.
Yes.
These are kids 16 and under who has some stories they could tell you. And so Linda works to help them be able to change their story and to experience things. I know More Music does something through there, and a couple of other people. I know Hot Works goes and does some exercises with them, and so it is a really, I tell people all the time, if you want to support a nonprofit, this is one that you need to support, because I know where the money goes and I know what they're doing with it, and the ride is a good way to do that. So if you're out here and you want to sponsor the ride, there are ways that different levels of sponsorship you can do, and then we'll get your name out there and we will be blasting it everywhere.
Yeah, so it's local supporting locals too. Like,
absolutely.
Come on out and support us, and let us in unison blow up your information too. That's word of mouth. My business was on the square. I had an office. I did all the marketing stuff that you do when you normally. But guess what got me through all them? I mean, to still be practicing massage is word of mouth.
Right.
That travels so much faster, and support from our locals. So.
Right.
Art and Recovery is next Tuesday at 6:30 at Coweta Forest. Come, bring your family. Make it a family night. Make it a tradition, a once-a-month tradition to have a free family night.
Yeah. Do they have to RSVP or register so you know how many to expect?
Just show up. But if you want to give me the heads up that you're coming, that's more than welcome. Hiking and Recovery is the last Sunday of this month at 3 o'clock, and we meet at Line Creek Nature Preserve in Peachtree City.
Right.
So
I won't be at hiking. I won't be hiking now. They don't want me hiking, although Ricky did get me a all-wheel terrain, four-wheel drive scooter to ride. I'll break my neck if I get on that thing, and we don't want to do that. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff because, connecting's in our name, connecting's in her name. So we're going to connect and do a lot of stuff. So you'll see Amy is one of our 4 Amy's connected into the Connecting Hearts people.
We're not a triple that, we're a quadruple.
Yeah, now there's 4 Amy's, and so there's something going on with that. I hadn't figured that out yet. But I appreciate you coming by. I know when we talk, it's always good. I always leave uplifted on it. Come to the studio. We're at 3 Bullsboro. Yeah. Usually we're there. Somebody for us is there Tuesday through Friday and sometimes on Saturday, but we're blasting it on Facebook, and we're going to end up putting a sign out in the yard. But I used to tell you to go down Perry Street and check and open doors and yell, and I'd come out because I was hidden in my little corner back there. Then I tried telling you if the Mini was here for my cute little Mini Cooper, but wouldn't you know it, out of all the red Mini Coopers in Noonan, me and the one girl that works at the funeral home have them both. And so, but we are putting neon hearts in our windows, so instead of wearing our hearts on our sleeves, we're going to have it out shining. So you know where to find us, and we have people drop in all the time. We have a whole studio for you to come in and do
and
stuff.
If anyone wants a private party or has an event, an all ladies event or a birthday party or a church group and want me to come out and do art therapy, provide the supplies, do something that correlates with whatever you have going on, your event and your birthday, then reach out to me, because those are so much fun. The private events that we can do where you can just bring the people together on such a intimate level of connection. So
we can do that. Amy's available for that too. Yeah. So we will be putting all that out on Facebook, and we thank you for joining us today. We will talk with you again on Thursday.
You have been listening to Tea Talks with Margie Conway, in association with Connecting Hearts Network, connecting hearts of women to resources, inspiration, and one another. Tune in next week for another episode of Tea Talks.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We're your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. Visit our website at www.insurewithellsworth.com or call the office at 770-755-7053 to schedule an appointment. We look forward to meeting